Yeah, yeah, yeah. Smash that like button. Massive grid lock worldwide. Hello, everybody. Shout out to Liverpool. Hey, Susie, howdy. We got to get wicked smart and protect ourselves from the wicked smart cities. Yo, what's up? It's Donut. You tuning into all your Illuminati news. We got a big show for you today. We are joined by Anya Saru at the Spiritual Shade Room. You're going to love his information. This is that long form, wicked, smart content. Shout out to Scotland as well. A lot to cover. I was just on listening to Anya Saru's Patreon. He does these Zoom calls like weekly and monthly, and they're absolutely great decodes. And so we're going to kind of go over some of the information that he's got that I also added onto with these smart LA 2028, these wicked smart cities. It's going to be absolutely nuts. So smash that like button and let's introduce our guest, Anya Saru. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. No fires, no ice. So everything is cool over here, and it's a pleasure to be back on the platform, brother.
Oh, man. So let's just jump right into this. These fires that are happening, we were covering it in Hawaii. We were like the first people to show how the blue was symbolism with blue Hawaii and how they were setting up these wicked smart cities in these grids. And we could see it through the symbolism. And I learned this from you, how the symbolism goes deep with color coding as well. When you were showing the Netflix symbol, that like opened my mind, how that's actually an ancient symbol as well. So with America being on fire on one side, all over the news worldwide, and then being icy cold on the other side, it was very, very symbolic. And we saw the symbolism before the big football game with Snoop Dogg, where they were showing the blue and yellow before the Ukraine thing kicked off. And we see that same color coding here with the blue and yellow in California. So I just thought that was interesting. What's your take on how symbolism even goes into color coding frequencies?
Yeah, spirits communicate through colors in actuality. Visualizing colors, the subconscious, is called quantum chromodynamics. So the occult secret societies, the symbolism of colors has been used since ancient times to activate portions of latent energies connected through waveform or the length of waveforms in the mind. So everything that they show you, the color is picked deliberately to encode some type of symbolism that's beyond what the standard person is looking at. So if you look at movies, the covers of different TV series, even into the cartoons, all of that is relative. When they put the particular associated archetype, there's a color that's associated with the archetype, and there's a planetary frequency associated with the color and the archetype. And that's all based on union and deeper aspects that throughout history, the occult societies have been utilizing.
Right. And then we see how important this is with this red and blue, not just in America, but we see this in the Middle East. This is a poster up there for the 201. The inauguration will be on 201. 201 plays a huge role. We'll get into that. but also the UFC fight, which is part of the cave for the plebes to watch. Plato's cave, how everybody's in the cave. Um, Football and all that. For the common man like myself, I watch UFC. But look at this is the new cover, and we just see this like all over the place right now, and the red roofs. But continue. Yes, what's your thoughts?
Well, we know the Muladhara chakra is based in red. When we think of the root chakra, that's prototypically the root of the ritual. So our lower emotions, our desires, what we want out of the material realm is rooted in red. And red is associated with what? Satanic, demonic energy. So this ritual that you have uncovered, I don't even know about the red roof. So this is new to me. And this is great because we know the blue ritual happened in Maui with the blue roofs. And it's funny because Wendy in our Patreon group, she's the one that discovered the Mary Poppins and the Sumerian connection to the bag. She found something today that you remember the Lucifer um thing in Denver.
Colorado. Yep, yep.
He just put up something else blue in Colorado. She sent me it. I didn't get to look all the way through it. The article says the city already has Lucifer, and now they have a big blue bear. And it says so.
Oh, wow.
It says now meet Baal, BAA apostrophe AL, Denver's third blue entity. So if you could type that in, Denver's third blue entity, it says the giant mountain goat with red glowing eyes is the best kept secret of Buckley Space Force Base. There it goes right there.
Wow. Look at that
So we
thing.
have the blue, you got the red, and we know in quantum physics you have blue shift and you have red shift. Blue shift and red shift. This is on a quantum level. They're using quantum chromodynamics with the color to represent the shifts on a very a smaller level atomically to what they're doing in manipulating energies and in the reality and things. So yeah, with the red, is interesting that you found that. That's very interesting.
Just saw it today because I've been looking into this red blue frequency, going back to the words and etymology with the electrons and the electrons, how you go to court and you get charged or you charge your credit card. So all these words and terms go back, and we got to go back to the terms, where are they coming from? And then you can see what's actually operating the world. And this was a house that caught on fire. I think it was a church standing in Washington years ago with the red roof. And this is the one house that stood with the blue car and the red roof in Hawaii that they focused on. So they made sure for the plebes to focus on the, I love saying, that's my new word, by the way. I'm going to start saying plebes. For the just the common man, the esoteric is for the red roof to focus on, not the blue roof, because we know that it was the blue roofs of the Rothschilds or the Scientologists and whatnot. But this is what most of the world looks as the red roofs. And this was just shared out by some mainstream influencers. This red roof, and everyone's like, oh, it's miraculous, this Catholic man's house in Altadena. Even though it was made by AI, it's a fake image, but it's still in the consciousness of society that these red roofs are so important and symbolic. And we see these symbols and rituals go down on these massive world events. Like right here was the Olympics or the Super Bowl. And right here after the Super Bowl, it said broke the internet after Usher said let it burn, right? There was that Let It Burn song. I think I got a slide of that somewhere. I wish I could find where I put that slide. But it all goes into secret societies and the occult.
And also with Usher, don't forget he had Alicia Keys at the Super Bowl. Then we had the Francis Key Scott Bridge. We had that go down, and also Alicia Keys. One of her most famous songs is called "Girl on Fire." Well, we had the Olympics. The logo of the Olympics, if you could pull that up, is a torch with a girl's face.
Oh,
As a
okay.
for the Olympics, and also there was a woman in a substation set on fire recently. A lot of substation rituals, which is connected to the underworld deities when they do that, and also in the Matrix. There's a lot of subway themes, and in Squid Games, they recruit you from the subways. So the girl on fire. So you right here, you see the torch, but if you look at the torch, the flame, you can see a woman's hair form with her lips in the middle. So girl on fire. And this whole year was about a female possible president. They kind of reversed the polarity of that energy, but they did have a red wave consume America. You get it? Red wave. And that's pertaining probably to what we're decoding today.
Wow. Yeah, the red wave happening. Here's the Usher symbol of the fire. So these are priming us through hypnosis to what's to come. And the TED Talks of Los Angeles, Wicked Smart City, this was planned during the lockdowns in 2020. And right here's it's all for the 2028 Olympics, but it's also much deeper than that. It's not just for that. But speaking of the red wave, we do see the rise of the National Socialist movement on the internet. I'm not sure if it's actually happening in the real world. As you can see, a lot of stuff's AI generated. But the Los Angeles Fire Department right here, you can see it's the Iron Cross of the National Socialist. I won't show it too long. Or the Knights Templars, the Assassin Order right here, the Hashashins and the Knights Templars work together. The Knights Templars were worshiping Baphomet. Snoop Dogg had the Baphomet chain on, lighting the Olympic torch, which was created by the National Socialist movement as well. So it is definitely deep rooted in symbolism of color coding, ancient secret societies, ancient bloodlines as well. And through the mimetic magic, these memes are how things start to happen. Whether that's the beginning of the year with the Tesla, and then 7 days into the year, you got something going on. And today's the 14th, so maybe it's a 7-14-21. There's so many astrological alignments happening. Whatever's going on right now is exactly what went down in 2020 before the lockdown. So we're going to see a crazy year this year for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a reflection. A lot of things that happened in 2020, you're going to see a rendition of what happened with that occurring. They're already talking about other, certain things we can't talk about on here as developing with that, with him coming back in office, and he represents the Messiah, son of Joseph, Trump. And that's why he's talking about these things, acquiring Greenland and these other aspects that I spoke about in that 6-hour video that we did on Patreon. That's packed with info. But also, this is also connected with the Mass of the Phoenix ritual that Aleister Crowley spoke about. And I brought up Twin Peaks late in that video because in the Mass of the Phoenix ritual, the symbol of the Los Angeles Fire Department is a phoenix bird with what you found, the Templar Iron Cross in the middle of the bird. And we know that Hunger Games had also the Girl on Fire connected to Alicia Keys, Girl on Fire. Then we have fire rituals. Yeah, this is Mass of the Phoenix ritual. It's more, we read, it's Liber 44. That's where it comes from. Liber is the particular ritual it comes from. And In it, it talks about consuming cakes of light, the cakes
Oh,
of light. Remember when we did the video on the Arby's
yeah.
Illuminati symbolism, and in the Arby's Illuminati symbolism, remember they brought Cal McLaughlin from Twin Peaks, who played Doug. I mean, not Doug. He played Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks. And in that particular commercial for Arby's, they showed the potato cakes coming back, and it was cakes of light he was consuming. He was
Mm.
consuming the cakes of, well, in the Mass of the Phoenix ritual, they talk about consuming cakes of light. This type in yeah, there it goes, yeah, that's it. And I brought up photos so people can see the photos and everything. But oh no, this is a new commercial here. This is a new one, bro. I didn't see this one.
I didn't either. Yeah, but I know what I smell what you're stepping in.
Yeah, but he looks like
Potato cake, the light. That's wild.
right. But there's a new one where they show the actual cakes lighting up, and they show a UFO delivering the cakes back. Yeah, there it goes. There's the
The
symbolism.
order of the potato cakes. Damn.
What
I want
if you look at go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just looking at how many spokes there are on here.
I
Because
bet you it's 32.
yeah, the Jesuits with the 32 and whatnot. Because I got some slides actually. I'm looking out for March 2nd, which is going to be the Oscars. The 3-2, the 32 plays a huge role symbolically. The 32nd floor in Las Vegas, the Mandalay Bay was created on 3-2, so there's a lot of 3-2 stuff. So and the Sampaku eye right there of this in the fight. I'm doing a prediction of the fight. I got the Jake Paul one wrong, so it's a new hypothesis of mine with the Sampaku eye. There's the Illuminati eye, which we'll get into in a second. I guess I could get into that later. I'll let y'all know the prediction I got for the next UFC fight that's happening right after the Trump inauguration on 201.
Interesting. Yeah, I got to look into that as well. But the funny thing is with the Phoenix, the Mass of the Phoenix ritual that I was speaking on is that Twin Peaks has, yeah, so if you look at the Mass of the Phoenix ritual, they talk about consuming cakes of light right over there in the right corner. In Twin Peaks, there's a specific part of the series called Fire Walk With Me. Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me. And the thing about it, Twin Peaks is about using the whore of Babylon, the Lilith, the Lilithian energy, which is the Lilith energy, the whore, because the Laura in the series is figured out to be a archetype of Lilith. And the Fire Walk With Me is connected. If you understand what's going on with the Black Lodge and everything in Twin Peaks, is connected to what happened in Los Angeles, because the fire started in an area called Santa Monica. Now we know the acronym of Santa Monica. Is that the acronym? What is the word when you rearrange words?
Anagram.
Anagram of Santa could be Satan. But Monica, Saint Monica, is the patron mother of saints. She's the patron mother of saints. So we spoke about how the Mass of the Phoenix ritual is a divine mother ritual to birth. So they're using in sex magic and Aleister Crowley's whole moonchild mythos. They believe that Donald Trump is this moonchild. And I spoke about what the moonchild is. It's about birthing a divine entity through human flesh, but using the whore of Babylon, what they did with Marjorie Cameron and what's the guy with the rocket, JPL? Yeah, using Jack Parsons to birth the moonchild. So I'm just correlating this fire ritual is very much a Cabalistic ritual, and it's connected to Crowleyan thelemic rites.
Right. And here's
one more thing, though. The police chief name is Kristen Crowley. But go ahead.
Yeah. The police chief's last name's Crowley. Oh man. And wow, that's nuts. And Crowley, and you were talking about Jack Parson, who was connected to L. Ron Hubbard of Scientology. And here's the Scientology base in California. They got the blue roofs, just like the Rothschilds' blue roofs. But you got Tom Cruise, right, kicking off the Olympics for this year. And we're still in the year of the dragon. I had someone comment, we're not in the year of the dragon, we're in the year of the snake now. The year of the dragon ends on 1-8. And then we go into so there's different calendars. So that guy who was mad, he's on the Jesuit calendar. So there's different calendars. The lunar calendar, there's the Hebrew calendar, there's different calendars, but I definitely look out for the Chinese calendar. They've been around longer than it's a very old empire. So it's kind of what I look out for as well. But these are crazy grand narratives, the great narrative that Charles Schwab talks about. This is the great narratives for the common man. So when we see these rituals in this Plato cave, right, in the womb, the matrix, the womb, it's a story for the esoteric, but there's an exoteric story. So there's double meanings to what we see on the world stage. Now, let's talk a little bit about Mel Gibson. People are he's now the hero of the world.
Right.
He's going to save everybody. And it goes into these oligarchical bloodline families that I cover, but like Elon is going to save us. Everybody's going to save us, but they're all married to each other. Can you tell us a little bit about Mel Gibson and his house burning down?
Well, I see he's been on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan made a prediction. Well, he didn't make a prediction. He had an episode on the 201st day of the year in 2024. He brought a fireman on, or ex-fireman. I don't think he was a fireman at the time. And the guy made a prediction that there's going to be a time when California wouldn't be able to put out these fires that's been happening. So everyone was raving about the prediction of the fire. But it's interesting, it was on the 201st day of the year, and we're talking about the 201 date with Trump getting into office right now. And 201, of course, is the big Jesuit number. There's 201 steps on the Great Step Pyramid in Egypt, 201 limestone steps. And we know the Great Pyramid is right there on our dollar bill. And all of the connections to the secret society is through the rites of Egypt and the pyramids. So with Mel Gibson, he's coming on there. He's saying that the fire is interesting. He said, why do these things, happen like this? So he's kind of dog whistling to some stuff. But going back to the Mass of the Phoenix ritual, he's about to drop a movie, 2025, Passion of the Christ, Resurrection. And here we go. We have the Jesuits is connected to Jesus. He's coming out with a Jesus movie, which he did the Passion of Christ originally. He's the one that had the movie with Satan looking like Barack Obama in it. Wasn't that in the Passion of the Christ, or am I mistaken? I think that was the same movie when they showed the hooded guy.
It's definitely, yeah. It's all used to divide and conquer.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's the same movie. I may be incorrect with that.
It probably is.
Yeah, but I remember watching the Passion of the Christ though, and so
I
they're going to
in the movie theater.
Oh, you saw it in the movie? Yeah, everybody went out to the movies. We watched it at my grandma's house. We were a big Christian family, so we had to sit down and watch it together. But Mel Gibson has been spotted saying a lot of racist things. They have recording. You can listen to it, and let's just say people can change. He is definitely connected to the Illuminati brass. If you look at the history of his movies, go back to the history of it, he's connected to the brass. So everyone thinks now he's trying to save the children, you know, and do all of this type stuff. Anybody that comes through the Joe Rogan experience, you guys need to go up on awareness about who these people are, because they are absolutely the complete opposite of what you think they are.
It's the Mockingbird media. It's the CIA. And the CIA was created by the Knights of Malta. You know what I mean? That's something that will never be brought up on any of these mainstream podcasts or these mainstream influencers that are just pushing people. Here's another one of the Rhodes Scholarships, which is the Rothschild Scholarships of the 201 day, July 20th, where they go into the great narrative. It's the manifesto of the NWO, like that you see right here on LA Strong, the RWO, or Hollywood Hogan with the NWO, and he's been a pretty big figure with this election as well. You know, a lot of stuff will be left out of the conversation, and we won't be part of the conversation as well. So Elon says, you are now the media. What is the media like, right? Where does that word come from? The meds and the media. And you know what? The National Socialist man, the mustache man, he went to prison, and a Jesuit wrote his manifesto called Mein Kampf, and then he wrote The Power, right? Well, I wonder what happened with Andrew Tate. He went to prison, and now he was just released out of prison with a manifesto. I wonder who wrote his manifesto as well. And if you question the narrative of the people fighting the narrative, then you're like, oh, you're just the J, you know, that's why you're saying. But they don't understand stuff like Game B, which I'm going to be getting into later on in this month, that these narratives of the WEF and whatnot, you got the counter narratives of the WEF, which is funded exactly through the same pockets of the WEF. It's like, it's the, you know, Hegelian dialect, they call it.
Yeah, WWE Raw too. You got to look at WWE Raw. Got a lot of stuff. Topanga was on WWE Raw right before the fires, and Topanga, I think it was National Forest, or that area of Topanga in California is right by Palisades. It caught on fire when she just happened to be on WWE Raw that night in Los Angeles.
Really? Shout out to Topanga. She's a Topanga WWE. She's a juggalo, so I gotta whoop whoop out to Danielle Fishel.
Right.
I don't. Yeah. So Topanga's there. See, this is how it works. It's like through like you're not gonna get brainwashed by just one little thing. It's got to hit you everywhere with Bound and Do, with like going into the grocery store, going into the Walgreens and seeing all the magazines that go. You turn the TV on, you see the TV, then you see your mainstream influencers telling you what to think, and then you got the Hollywood films. In Hollywood, we're in the Wood Dragon year. You know what I mean? So there's some magic going on there, so much wild stuff. And I predicted the fires as well. Can I play a little clip real quick with the astrological alignments?
Absolutely.
So people say that Joe Rogan, he predicted it. We also predicted it on this channel last month through the astrological alignments. Now, for fire type ritual to go down all the way into January as well. But that's one prediction. And that was just because of the astrological alignments of Mars going retrograde and even this Luigi guy.
Hmm.
They were showing this book with the house on fire. So there was just a lot of little priming stuff that went into all of this with these astrological alignments. And here's another clip I want to play real quick as well. I did this video um, last year with Ole Demigard, and he talked about the paradise. And Ani and we covered the paradise fires quite a bit. I mean, we were on the we were like on it, you know what I mean? So he just pointed out how paradise is always on fire. I'll play a clip of that from last year, because today in the mainstream it's hell comes to paradise, winds back up 70 miles per hour. You made a paradise connection that I thought was interesting. Paradise Lost.
If you listen to media, when you had the Paradise Fires, these are not handpicked or just random names. They have handpicked them as part of the operations, as part of the psychological warfare, I think. The Paradise Fires, and where media kept talking about lost paradise, paradise lost, paradise lost, paradise lost. And you had exactly the same script used in Maui, paradise lost, Lahaina, the paradise lost, paradise lost. And when you look at that book, Paradise Lost, is about the fight between good and evil. When an expression is used that over and over and over again, you have to ask yourself, whoa, what is going on here? All over the place, so many different TV channels using the exact same wording, Paradise Lost, Paradise Lost. And so I don't think that that was a coincidence.
I thought that was a good thing to bring up, since we're seeing all that.
It is, and let's look at the author of Paradise Lost, John Milton, and you had the Milton hurricane. That was the first crisis in 2020, well, the first big crisis in 2024. John Milton was the hurricane was named after him, and he has that connection as well. But 10 people died in that Hurricane Milton, and 10 people died in the Los Angeles fire. What is the connection to that? When you think of the word Satan, is almost an analogy to Satan, like Sayten, Satan. You had 10 people die in both tragic events. Also, there's 10 Sephiroths on the Kabbalah, the worlds of emanation. So it's connected to Cabalistic magic with the 10, and relative to the Godhead, it's 10 portions that builds the 4 worlds up to the Godhead. And Satan equals 10 and God equals 10 in gematria. Both equals 55 too, and 5 plus 5 is 10.
And also, like, we are in the year of the X as well, and 10 in Roman numerals X.
Good point.
Yeah, that's why, like, that's how they use words like say 10, right? Saying you're saying Satan, you know, in it. That's why a lot of these names that are on the world stage, what are you invoking when you say some of these people's names? That's why I always like to look at so many different things, like Hollywood as the wood of a holly tree. They are writing the grand narratives, and the Oscar threat. The Oscars will happen on 3/2. Yeah, it just that's when the Mandalay Bay was created, on 3/2. And then the Super Bowl coming up as well. Yeah, the Super Bowl. Usher, Let It Burn. I'm just going through some of the articles of these smart cities. So what else is on your mind? I also like to remind everybody that we got almost 2,000 people up in here. To please smash that like button. Go over to the Patreon as well. Go sign up to Anya Saru's Patreon and my Patreon. That's how you can support us over on the Patreons. Go subscribe to Anya Saru's YouTube channel as well. And if you can't, do the cheaper than a bag of Skittles, $4.99 a month, and Anya Saru's Patreon, just give this video a like and share. And I got Ani's links all down below.
I appreciate that, brother. And yeah, this is the same thing what I've been saying. Somebody said 10 people died at the Travis Scott event too, so that's interesting.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so you have all of those connections. But yeah, the smart cities. Also, if you look at the path of the fires, it forms the Hebrew letter Shin. I was highlighting
Okay.
in the 6-hour video we did 2 days ago. And the Shin is the trident. It forms what the word Shin means to consume. And I went through the Babylonian Talmudic. I read like damn near 15, 20 minutes worth of Talmudic information on how fires and wind are used to feed demons. How we get fed is different on how they get fed. And I just went through a bunch of verses, verse after verse of verse, speaking about how incense and burning. They said that Yahweh loves the savory smell of incense and burning of animals or trees or different things. So I think it was they made that area of California into an altar almost, and it formulated the trident. If you trace, the areas of where the portions burned up, it makes a trident. And we know Biden, his name connects to the Biden. We know that Ukraine, their symbol is the trident. We know 9/11. If the connection with 9/11, you have what was it? No, is the building had tridents on it. The Twin Towers had tridents as
Yes,
well.
the
The
trident
symbol,
true.
right, and that's the Hebrew letter Shin. The Hebrew letter Shin makes the trident. And you had Operation Trident, isn't that when they buried Bin Laden? It was Operation Trident or something like that. So you
Yes.
have all of these connections, and I think in not Enlil, I think Enki or in one of them is God, is the trident god in Sumerian mythology. So yeah, there's the trident and what pertains to that. And also another connection is that with the
I see what you're saying. Okay, right here. Okay, okay. I
yeah,
get it. I
yeah,
get it. So
yeah,
right here, because I could read Hebrew pretty well, and I'm happy you brought this up. Um, because I connected some dots on my Patreon as well to some Hebrew letters for the LA. But as you can see right here, the trident, the three prongs down here, and then it
mhm,
connecting down there. Those are the three prongs up here, and then this connecting it right here, right? Is that
right.
am I
Yeah, you hit it. That's exactly what it was. If you connect it, you got to, know ley lines too, because the picture I had, it like showed the ley lines and then the connecting of the ley lines and all of that. And that it like we don't even release that, really to the public. We leave that exclusive to the people on Patreon that's serious about the research, but you kind of see the
right?
three and how it connects right there and how it comes out. It's birthed out of the Palisades, which comes out of Topanga and Santa Monica and all of these things. And it's interesting, Kenneth Fire. You see Kenneth Fire over there to the left? Well, Kenneth Grant wrote a book called The Outside Circles of Time, and he's the one that mentions the Mass of the Phoenix in his book. He highlights the Mass of the Phoenix connected to sex magic. Hollywood is a big sex magic ritual, and what they're doing exclusively, in their houses, and also people are talking about the tunnels. The tunnels could connect to the Talmudic mythology, to Shil or Shul, the underworld, the 7 layers of the underworld, and you have the 7 layers above the firmament, above the waters of the waters above the firmament, the 7 classical planets, which everything in existence down here is about the emanations of what's coming out of the 7 classical planets in the 7 heavenly worlds. They call them lokas in Hindu astrology or Vedic astrology. Same thing that's occurring down below, which below is called the tohu, or the waters of chaos, which is the underworld. Then we showed how Epstein Island had the same 7 stripes going across the blue and white stripes, which represents the flag of Israel and things of that aspect on his establishment on Epstein Island. So if you disconnect it all, it's a fire ritual. Definitely, you were accurate in predicting that. Remember the film that came out around the same time Leave the World came out last year was Mufasa. It came around the same time. And what was Leave the World about, or one big event that happened in the movie? The ship hitting the banks of the beach, and the ship was called the White Lion. Well, if you watch Mufasa, the new Lion King movie, Mufasa's father and well, really Scar's father, Mufasa's inherited father, is a white lion. He's a white lion in the movie. So you have this white lion connection, and Leo or fire, which is connected to what? Maga in Vedic astrology is a fire sign. Leo's a fire sign. And you have the white lion around the same time that Leave the World came out. A year later, they come out with Mufasa. They actually kill the guy who originally played the voice of Mufasa, James Earl Jones. He also is Darth Vader's voice. He gets off what some people say is a natural death because he died, but we know numerology, we know these things happen, but whatever you want to think, you guys. But we're just highlighting how these are connections that's undeniable.
And then that assassin was holding up the Mufasa Happy Meal.
Right.
Right? Mufasa
Right.
Happy Meal assassin Luigi. Where is that? Yeah. I mean, because that is like the story for like me and you when we were kids, and now they got to repackage the same story for the children to have them for life. And also, I want to show you some other stuff I found that nobody's pointed out. And this is like that secret stuff for the Patreon members, but y'all lucky, y'all get in some of our Patreon member only content because we are here with Ani Saru at the Spiritual Shade Room. LA Olympics logo, because I grew up going to Hebrew school, so I learned Hebrew, how to read the alphabet for over 13 years, learning it. So when I see symbols in Hebrew, I notice it quicker. So nobody's noticed this yet. So I'm just flexing a little bit.
No, I'm anxious to see this, bro. I gotta see this.
Yeah. So I'm trying to. So here's the Olympics logo for Los Angeles, and it's I'm trying to make it full screen. So right here is the Yud in the Hebrew alphabet, and this is Bet or Vet, which so Bet is the home.
Yes.
And Yud is the divine spark, right? So it's the divine spark of the homes in a sense, maybe. Right there. So you got Hebrew letters right there in the Olympics. So you pointing out the flame stuff as well, because this is all like Kabbalah magic. And I like to notate for all the anti-Semitic people out there that the National Socialist, that whole group, they were using Kabbalistic magic. The Queen at the House of Lords, that whole ceremony of knighting the Queen, that is a Kabbalistic ritual, and this goes back to Sabel, and nobody knows that. People just get lumped into these different camps, and nudged into these different camps for divide and conquer purposes. And so I just want to notate that as well as I bring up this, because
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But you know what? That is that like a fairy or something like. It reminds me of, is it Wendy off of Peter Pan?
Oh yeah. So what would that mean? That's that little like fairy in Peter Pan,
Like the pixie fairy. Did you know the new Peter Pan movie just came out, and they figured out, like I put up on my page, that Peter Pan is really about a demon.
right? Peter. Oh, okay. Tell
And
us about that.
they were talking about how Peter Pan. So in the new Peter Pan, it's called like Peter Pan the Nightmare. I think it's a new movie that came out 2025. Everyone's talking about it. And the Pope opened up the doors to St. Peter's Basilica. Now remember that. Remember what we just said with that. So St. Peter's Basilica. Yeah, Neverland Nightmare. I'm sorry. That's what it's called. Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. So they're showing the real true aspect of Peter Pan. And Wendy which was a fairy or a pixie. Well, first one, let me explain what's actually going on. The boys that's recruited by Peter Pan and Disney, they never age, right? What we figure out is that he's imprisoning them. He doesn't want them to age because he wants them to be prisoners to or slaves to him in the real mythology of Peter Pan, so that they don't grow up. The ones that escape him, they actually grow up and they become the pirates, like Captain Hook. We figure out Captain Hook, which represents Saturn. He was the first child or boy. What do they call them? Neverland boys or Wonder Boys or whatever the name of the boys that he Lost Boys. They're called Lost Boys. He's the first. Captain Hook is the first lost boy that Peter Pan ever came to. And if we look at the symbolism of who Pan is the Greek god, a goat god, going back to the Baphomet and the connections to Jupiter Ammon, which is Yahweh, Jupiter Ammon, and this is the why Satan is depicted as a goat, because they use the goat as a scapegoat to represent the devil. There's nothing in the Bible that describes the symbol of the devil. What is the devil? Biblically, they never describe what the devil looks like. So the scapegoat becomes the symbol of what's in is it Aquarius? No, is it Aquarius? No, not Aquarius.
Capricorn.
Capricorn becomes the scapegoat for the symbolism of the devil, because that is the planetary ruler of Saturn. Saturn is connected to the goat. So Pan is where the word Pan.
Hook.
Oh, go ahead.
A hook is the Saturn hook.
The hook. The hook is connected to Saturn, but you have the goat as well. You know, the goat is connected to Saturn, so that becomes the scapegoat. You know, and the symbol of TikTok is actually the sea goat. If you look at the original symbol of the sea goat, it's the same thing of what the TikTok symbol is, and everyone's talking about TikTok, but you think about TikTok is related to time and Saturn. So it still goes back into the Saturnian energy with time. But the original statement I made is that Wendy, the symbol of the pixie or the fairy, is very interesting, because they said that Wendy in the Peter Pan series, she's the original pixie. She is the first female allowed around the Lost Boys, because she's recruited through Peter Pan, and she escapes him. But do you know how she escapes him? She gives away her family's bloodline. The firstborn female throughout the bloodline is, in the original story, is to be given as a sacrifice to Peter Pan. So that's how she escapes. So I think it's an analogy to occult esoteric science of how they get these children through that particular term we can't say, and they're either raised up to be surrogates to energy or energetic formulas that they do through the occult, through Disney. These childhood stars that we see that they're Tinkerbell. Is that Wendy, or is that another character?
Oh, I don't know. Let me see. Tinkerbell, Peter Pan. I think this is.
Yep, that's her. That's Wendy.
Okay.
Yep. That's the same character. So I got to look into.
And the whole Captain Hook thing, Captain Hook. That's it's about the Pirates of the Caribbean, going back to the Skull and Bones and all that. This is all interconnected. Ancient cults and all that. That's going on. It's crazy. It's wild. So this TikTok, it would be the sickle.
No, it's the sea goat. Look up the sea goat, the original sea goat symbol. The symbol of the sea goat is the exact same symbol. The Capricornian sea goat symbol is the TikTok symbol upside down.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See, since these symbols are deep in the psyche, they just reuse it as well. I was also showing on the Patreon. Y'all got to subscribe to the Patreon, because that's like this content that we're talking about right now, we reserve for Patreon. So make sure to go subscribe to our Patreon, because it's a great way to support us, and like and share the video as well, because this isn't possible without y'all. So
I'm sorry to correct that. It was actually Tinkerbell was the fairy, and Wendy is her bloodline gets pretty much sacrificed. Her entire bloodline gets sacrificed. So thank you to everyone to correct that. I haven't seen Peter Pan since I was a kid, actually.
Yeah, Peter Pan, Peter Pan, and all these different names of different gods that are used in the color coding goes into so much.
Well, go back. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You was talking about the symbol of the LA 28.
The LA Dodgers. It looks like everything's blue with the LA. Everything's being charged up for LA. So we got the Super Bowl and Kendrick Lamar, who performed at the Super Bowl before the war, and now he's performing again. And the LA Dodgers symbol seems to be new to me. I've never seen it like this. I could be wrong, but I thought it looked. I thought just like there's 12 right here. So there's 12, tribes of Israel, 12 zodiac signs, 12 inches on a ruler. But it also, I thought, looked like Akhenaten a little bit, which, I haven't like dived deep in the symbol, but the sun rays coming down. This could be the sun rays coming down. It could mean so many different things looking at symbols. Do you have anything on that? This kind of looks like the Pisces logo.
Right. Yeah.
I know it's very Masonic, the baseball.
It is. The whole baseball field is the Masonic compass. It's plain straight out is the Masonic compass. And yeah, it is about the game of reincarnation. If you read deep into it, how you get home to first base, and all of that is about how to reincarnate. There's some occult stuff to it.
And then this is the Masonic compass just at a tilt as well. If you just tilt this around.
I see it.
And isn't this go into like racist, like gematria stuff I've heard?
Yeah, 42. Yeah, 42 is the N word, and they killed Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther, based on him doing a movie called 42. And Chadwick Boseman, first of all, he represented the Wicker Man because he had Chadwick. That's going back to the burning rituals. But he didn't die by burning, but he was a sacrifice. And they're looking for the new Black Panther right now. They're looking for someone new to play Black Panther, but there's something called the Black Panther curse. Like, there's a lot of people that's from the original Black Panther movie that's being just killed off, and nobody's talking about it in the news. But it is connected to the Dodgers winning the Super Bowl, the Los Angeles Dodgers winning, and the Los Angeles Lakers winning the same year in 2020. So Chadwick, the number 42, and the Dodgers has a long history connected to some of that stuff with the gematria pertaining to the migratory stuff.
Yeah. And so I like to end it with this as well, with the whole Smart City, the Wicked Smart City, that this came out in 2020. And I read it and been doing these reports on the Patreon. But if you look at the way LA was built, the gridlock wasn't working. People couldn't get out. And unlike Arizona, I'm in Arizona, so it's already a smart city. I still think they can paradise Maui, Arizona, but what it would be to get the smart city working, because Arizona was built under a gridlock from day one. It was built as a grid. And California has all these hills, so it wasn't burnt with it. So a narrative we're going to hear with Trump, we're going to see a ritual. Another prediction I got is and I like to film myself when I say the prediction so I can play the clips, is that we're going to have a ritual on the highway system on 128 highway. That was kind of where my head was going, because it's all about creating the new grid system for the wicked smart cities of the LED light bulbs and all that. But with you were showing with the Shin and the grid system, if you look right here, downtown would be the center. So downtown is the center point of the command center of the smart city. So all around downtown was burnt because downtown would be the command center. That's why downtown wasn't hit for it. So maybe that's something to look out for as well.
That's crazy.
And we are here with Ani Asaru at the Spiritual Shade Room. Woo woo. Make sure to go subscribe to Ani. Got his links down below. All you got to do is click that button and go subscribe. He puts out long form content just like we do over here. It's not just some little meme that people share, like people are going to be sharing this little red home, how it was saved. Although it's an AI generated image, so you can't be just believing in memes. Memes are used to mind control all y'all. So you got to get the long form content. I thought I was sharing the screen when I was doing that. So get the long form content. Go over to the Patreon. Anything else you like to tell people where to go?
Yeah, just go to patreon.com/THE_spiritual shade room. And it should pop up as the True Occult Newspaper. And come on over to YouTube at Ani Osaru and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, Ani Osaru. And I appreciate you for having me on, brother, as always.
Oh, yep. You heard it, everybody. Much love and God bless you.